Yeah, WRFG 89.3 FM, your station for progressive information and quality handpicked music here on INI Radio. I'm Sharice Nicole. This is what we do every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon. And of course, always fourth Fridays, we do what's called Misconceptions about Conception. And we're going to move forward with that segment now. And prior to that, I want to make a couple announcements. As you just heard, we have the Unit Tea and Coffee, which is a collaboration of 640 West and Tassili's Raw Reality, opening a hot vegan breakfast in a new coffee bar, actually launching that on Monday. So that's exciting. Hot breakfast that is vegan on the West End from 6 a.m. to 11 every morning, except on Sunday. So that launches on Monday. I will be there because Chef Deuce, I'm telling you, that dang breakfast burrito, I don't know how they do that. It's really like eggs, but it's not eggs, but it's this, but it's not, and it's vegan. I don't know how they do that. I really want to figure that out because I want to do that at home, like as soon as I leave here. I don't know what. I don't even know. We had it at the Mystic Fair. It was crazy. You want to try a DJ T-Stem? You know.
You just made me hungry.
I know. I'm hungry too. Yeah, the flyer got that the picture that just.
I want to eat that.
DX said his daughter said, "Ooh, she seen the flyer with the picture of one of those breakfast sandwiches," and his daughter, his 3-year-old, said, "Ooh, I want to eat that." All right, me too. I feel the same way when I seen that picture. So big up Chef Deuce. He actually took his own picture of his own food as well. I found that out. That was pretty cool. And so, yes, and also we have Music in the Park coming up Sunday. We have Atlanta Streets Alive, where they shut down the streets. And, you know, in the name of bicyclers and all of that, you know, it's an organization that shuts down a street somewhere in Atlanta every year, and they do the West End of Atlanta. And when they do it, it's just so dope because, you know, you got all our restaurants, Tassili's, you got Gallery 992, you have, you know, the West End is popping right now, you know, and so you got the West End Mall area all the way down to Westview. They're going to be shutting down that whole road. And so Kebby Williams of Gallery 992, Grammy Award winning saxophonist, he's really big on, you know, they're going to come to the hood and shut down the street. We about to put some stages on the street. And so it's going to be 10 stages, Vici Royale. I have a stage in front of Tassili's. Ross Kofi, WRFG's own Ross Kofi has a stage. A lot of DJ stages. DJ Dizza will be out there. Ear Doctor. Those are a lot of DJs from WRFG. You know, gonna be rocking. You rocking, DJ Heat? DJ T-Stem will be on our stage in front of Tassili's. Yeah, so it's going to be good. That's going to be Sunday, this Sunday, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. That is going to be bananas. You're going to be walking down the street, in the middle of the street, and it's going to be bands popping in all these places and DJs playing all through the street. It's going to be crazy. Yes. It's going to be crazy. And so, you know, Tassili likes to have yoga going on in the front at the same time. Nice. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. And so that's Sunday from 2 to 6. This Sunday as well. Studio Stephanie, you know, has something coming up at the I Am Ascension Temple above Tassili's, actually on Saturday, tomorrow.
Yes. You know, there are so many people that have a book to write, but they're so fearful of writing a book. But there's a book inside of everyone. And people have writer's block. And they just don't understand that there are so many ways to get over the writer's block and write your book, because there's a lesson for everyone out of your story, out of your life. And that's what I'm going to be going over tomorrow, 3 to 5 at the I Am ATL, I Am Ascension Temple of Love. It's right above Tassili's on Ralph David Abernathy from 3 to 5. Please give me a call at 678-330-8139. Again, that's 678-330-8139. I want to make sure you understand the difference between copyright, trademark, patent, how to get your book, how to write it, how to publish it, how to promote it, and it's just so many other more blessings and bonuses I'm going to give. Thank you.
Blessings and bonuses.
Yes.
I need some blessings and bonuses. That sounds good.
I know, right?
All right. All right, and so as promised, we're going to move forward with our misconceptions about conception segment. And we have our resident midwife co-producer, I love her so much, Sakisa Berry in studio.
Hey, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings, WRFG family. Thank you for tuning in.
Of course. And so, misconceptions about conception. Inspired by me being pregnant 4 years ago and feeling like, okay, this is not something didn't feel right about my first situation. So I need to do all the research that I can to figure out how to make sure this goes correctly this time. And I found information that blew my mind. I was like, whoa, I didn't know this. I knew a lot. I read a lot. I research a lot. I'm all conscious with all the, vegan this and, don't eat off aluminum and don't have fluoride in your toothpaste, But then when I researched birthing, it blew my mind because it was so much information that I did not know. Right. I was like, whoa, this is deep. And so I, just automatically, that's just how I am. I want to share with everybody. I want to tell everybody. I got to tell everybody. And so I started a segment called Misconceptions About Conception, where we can make sure that the mothers are in tuned and informed and, in making decisions,
right.
Because now we look at the rates of mother mortality, especially African-ascended mothers and babies. The mortality rates are crazy and it's not supposed to be like that. We're in a place where all the money is and all the technology is and all of this, but at the same time, something's not being done right, and so we have to pay attention to that. And so, Sakisa Berry, this is the fourth year of misconceptions about conception, because I thought I was going to do just a month of it. I was like pregnant 9 months, sitting here doing it week by week for 1 month, and I thought that was it, but people was like, oh, we need that. It was just such a great response that I decided to do it once a month, and I've been doing it for 4 years. Sakisa have been doing it for over a year with me. I was like, oh, sister, please, someone who is in the industry that can help, and she has done a tremendous job at bringing, like you two, I wouldn't know you if it wasn't for her. You understand what I'm saying? She's very passionate. This is a movement, and she's in the forefront of it, and I didn't even recognize that she would be in the way that she is now, but I did recognize that she was the perfect voice, to co-produce this segment. And so talk to people about how we describe what misconceptions about conception is.
Oh, yes. So I also wanted to speak to what you said. We can't leave the brothers out. We empower the fathers also on this platform. So, dads are big advocates for their babies as well. So this is a platform established to dispel the myths associated with birth throughout the diaspora, in America as well. So in this platform, we cover all kind of topics. Cesareans, we like to call them hot topics. We talk about vaccinations and home birthing versus hospital birthing. But today is a special treat because one of the things that we have yet to cover that I'm aware of in that preconception phase is Black fertility. A lot of women in America right now, Black women specifically, are struggling with their own fertility. And we got reasons for that, but we also have a specialist in the house that's going to share some information on that for us as well. So I have the beautiful Natasha. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please, sis.
I'm Natasha, and I'm the I'm the founder of Black Fertility, and I basically created it because I sort of realized the same thing that you realized, Nicole, is that people wanted to hear more. It really was just like, it started off as just another channel, another avenue for me to share my information on fertility, but I started getting a lot of feedback. People wanted more, so I started doing some more research on fertility, and I found out that not only is the Black birth rate declining,
yes,
it's declining across the whole board for all races, and but it's especially declining for Black people, which up until now we didn't really think that our fertility rates would be affected, because we're told that Black people are so fertile. And nobody talks about it in their family. Women don't talk about the fertility issues that they're experiencing. We don't talk about fibroids. We don't talk about endometriosis. Nobody knows, right?
Right.
So everybody is like tight-lipped, and then you don't find out anything until you're on the hospital bed, your legs are in the air, and the doctor tells you have fibroids, we're going to cut your womb out. Right. So it's like, it's too late. And then on top of that, it's like they don't really need to perform hysterectomies a lot of time when it comes to fibroids. They can do things like myomectomies or other type of like surgical removals of the actual fibroids. Like some doctors, they actually, not doctors, but like some people will actually say there's absolutely no reason to ever have to perform a hysterectomy.
Right.
The fibroids can be removed. So
that's so crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, this takes us back to, it takes my mind back to the history of sterilization.
Yeah,
you know,
it's still in it.
Yeah, and so
Still in it.
you know, that's what I'm saying. Like it got to a point where women were losing their womb. They were taking people's wombs out without their permission.
They still do it. They still, what happens is you educate yourself on, like, especially for fibroids, you educate yourself on the alternative options. There's like 4 or 5 alternative. You could do like laparoscopy. Like, they have different words. Myomectomy is one of them, and then they're constantly increasing the technology. So what happens is the woman, she educates herself. She finally finds out, I don't have to have a hysterectomy. I'm going to go and elect for this type of, surgery that's not a hysterectomy. The doctor says, okay, yeah, but once you're under, if I decide that you need a hysterectomy, I'm going to. And then so not only will they do a hysterectomy, they may take your ovaries out and your tubes.
Yo, they straight be lying to these mamas.
While you're asleep. So you tell the doctor, you notify the doctor, you say, look, I'm aware, I've been doing my research and such and such, so I just want to do this, and they tell you, okay.
That's why you got to read that admission paperwork.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Because that's
once he or she tells you that, look, okay, I understand your concern and what you want, but once I look in there and I decide what I feel like doing, that's you're just gonna wake up and find out what happened.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right.
I had it's a close associate of mine. We do some good work. Another activist, reproductive justice activist, ironically, in the community, and she was sharing her story with me about how she was told that she was going to need to have a hysterectomy by one of her OB-GYNs last year, I believe it was, or some part last year, within the last 2 years, and so she didn't take it face value. Right. She went. The woman told her that she would need the hysterectomy because of all of these fibroids that she had that showed up in their ultrasound and all of their tests. Right. She went and got a second opinion. Not one fibroid. Wow. Not one fibroid. The woman went so far as to tell her she was not only going to have to remove her uterus, but remove her ovaries as well.
Wow.
Right? So the mama just had a baby this year.
What?
Yes.
Like, you can still have a baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I had another mom on my couch a month ago who was told that she had cervical cancer, that she could not have a vaginal delivery, and that she was going to have a hysterectomy alongside her birth. She had that baby the following week vaginally. No issues. Kept her uterus. So you really have to do your due diligence, like you say, and do your research. You got to trust your body and do your research.
It's designed to give birth.
Yeah.
And to heal itself. And
so what it comes down to, it's like you said, trusting your body, trusting your common sense and your instincts as mothers, as women, and having the support from your like she talked about, having the fathers involved, having the support from the fathers. And when we say the fathers need to know that we can't trust what every doctor said just because they're a doctor. So what it comes down to, it's like, how do we start to understand that the medical system is not in our interest overall, in our well-being of of us and our babies. And so there's some doctors that are very helpful and very real and very, true to taking the Western medical education and infusing it with common sense and truth, and understanding the differences in all of our chemistries, understanding melanin dominance and dealing with that reality of difference in chemistry and the way that we do things and things. But it's a lot of them, I swear, like after I had my last baby, I went to a a postnatal, because I end up having to have a C-section. C-sections, I like to say, are overdone, and that method is overused, but it can save lives, and it can be used in certain situations that are emergencies, but it's overused.
Definitely.
I need to say that. But after I did that, I went to a post appointment, and this doctor, he tried to talk me into getting birth control, and it was just like, he was like very forceful. I'm like, for number one, you didn't ask me if that's something I want to do.
Right.
I never got asked like if this is something I want to do, while you're pushing all these methods of inserting things into my womb and all of this.
Right.
Are you crazy? You don't even know who you're talking to. Like, what? Like, a copper what and where? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Your fallopian tube.
yeah.
Right.
And so, that experience lets me know just how intimidating they can be for people who don't know.
Right.
And so that's the thing, just having the information and saying, hey, we have to be informed and be empowered by being informed, to say, like, I'm empowered as a mother, as a goddess, to know who I am and what I need based on, I'll get your diagnosis, I'll listen to you, what you said, all right, now I'm gonna take it back to my family, I'm gonna call my midwife, I'm gonna call my doula, we have to have these resources in place in order to really truly make sure that we're making the most informed decisions.
Indeed. I wanted to ask Natasha, to explain a little bit more for our listeners, because not everyone knows what a fibroid is, what endometriosis is. I know these are becoming an epidemic in our community, unfortunately. And so maybe what are some of the causes of these things as well?
So what's what they do, they tell you there's no causes for any of them, none of them. No
what sense do that make? Right?
That makes no sense.
No common sense.
The main fertility issues that I've noticed are fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS. Okay. So the main fertility issues that I've noticed are fibroids, PCOS, cysts, tubal obstructions.
Yeah.
Right? But if you do the research on them, you can go on tons of websites. You can ask your doctor. They're going to tell you that there's no reason. They don't know. But if you keep reading, like, what you're going to find out is you will draw correlations. So they'll be like, okay, a lot of the solutions kind of give you your answer. They reveal the answer. So a lot of the solutions will be like lose weight, okay. Eating a healthier diet, reducing stress, having a more positive attitude and outlook on life, and so forth, right? So what I've noticed is that stress is like the number one cause of all of them. So what happens is, especially as women, like, we store a lot of our emotions and tension like in our womb area, right? So when you are like constantly dealing with stress and different like things happening to you, you tense up your womb. Like, if you just think about it, if something is bothering you or hurting you, you're probably going to like feel it localized in your womb area. So like over time, that tightening, you cut off circulation. As women, Black women, we are like the number one workers in society.
We have the most degrees of any
but
other
what are we
race in
doing
the
with
country.
those degrees?
Stressing.
Behind a desk. Sitting behind a desk stressing.
And then got to go home and cook, then the homework,
Sitting down stressing. So
Do
that
it all
adds
over
to
again.
it, because now that sitting down is like you're sitting down, circulation is cut off again, and you're doing
Driving
it
a
for
lot.
40, 50 hours a week. So you're constantly cutting off circulation and constantly like storing stress in that area. So I feel that you know, stress combined with poor circulation is what's causing a lot of these things. But on top of that, you have your diet, and estrogen is like one of the main things again that causes the fibroids to grow, causes the polyps and endometriosis. A lot of it is all hormone based.
Right.
So you got like you have testosterone and then you have estrogen. So women who have like PCOS, they're mainly affected by a testosterone load.
Right.
Right. And then on the other side, you have women affected by endometriosis. Estrogen. Estrogen causes things to grow. So that's why the fibroids are growing and the polyps are growing.
Yeah.
And so to combat that, you sort of have to reduce your estrogen intake. And women who have PCOS, they kind of will have to work on reducing their testosterone intake. So it's really the hormones, again, being thrown out of balance because you're stressed. And stress also releases hormones, cortisol, which that can wreak havoc on your hormones. So you got to really deal with stress, and you got to really deal with like your hormone balance. So.
Okay, and so like I as a sister that I know who is from Orlando, and she's a beautiful sister, very beautiful, vegan and all of that, and she found out that she had fibroids as big as big. So she said big as grapefruits. I don't even want to repeat that.
They can get bigger.
They can get as big as
you
babies.
You can look pregnant, 9 months pregnant.
Because of fibroids.
Yes.
Okay.
They grow fast, and
Come closer.
Yeah, sorry. The fibroids can grow fast.
Okay.
And then what another trick I say is that when you go to when the doctor tells you you got fibroids, they tell you to wait and see. Like if you don't want to do anything about them right now, or if they don't feel like you should do anything, they tell you to wait and see. But because they can grow so fast within that 2 month, 2 week, whatever period, so when you go back, you're like, look, doc, I'm bleeding, there's pain. They're like, okay, hysterectomy. And you're going to be like, yeah.
Set up.
And so, like, with this particular sister, she's vegan, right?
Right.
And so I'm like, what? You're vegan and you got fibroids big as a grapefruit? And she was like, I think, like what you said, the factor is stress. But also, she said, even though I'm vegan, I know I was eating too much starch and too much sugar.
But it's not just, it's the high estrogen foods. The like estrogen.
Like what?
Like
Soy.
Not just soy. Hold on. All estrogen is not bad.
But too much estrogen.
Too much of it. So that's where soy kind of gets the bad rap, that it is estrogenic. But if you kind of think about it, everything is either estrogenic or like nobody thinks about it that way. But what's happening is it all comes down to like the molecules that are what's binding to the cell, the receptor sites on your cells. What is it triggering the cells to do? So estrogenic substances or particles will attach to the receptor sites in your womb. Like we have a lot of estrogen receptor sites like on our womb and reproductive organs. So when what you eat or whatever, what you touch, it could be a receipt paper. Estrogen is going into your bloodstream, going into and binding to those cells, those receptor sites, and triggering your body to do stuff. So it doesn't necessarily have to be soy, and it's not, but then there's different grades of estrogen. Some things can be more harmful or more powerful, whereas other types of estrogens are weak. So I think like xenoestrogens, which are not they don't come from food. They're more like artificial, again from plastics. That's why they say don't use BPA and all those things. So it really depends on down to the molecular.
Them chemicals.
It's not just vegan. It's not just it comes to the molecular.
Ain't that something? Because we talk about that. And so we have another sister in the building. I want to say both of them have little babies.
Yes.
She's feeding her baby. This is Misconceptions about conception, baby.
Right?
And then we have a little princess back here. We see you. Hey. And so these mothers with a newborn, this one right here, that baby's 2 weeks old, right? 3 weeks old. Oh my gosh, we are so blessed to make your acquaintance, little prince, as a boy. Yes, we are so blessed. Like everything that we're doing, every move we're making right now is all about him. Every thought we're thinking is all about manifesting everything he needs to be as great as he needs to be, right? And so I want to talk to, before we shift to her, what's say her name again, please? Natasha. And so what is it that you do? Why is this research? What inspired this research?
It's a long story.
Okay. So we're not gonna get into the long story because we got to shift. But I want to say thank you for doing that and not just telling the long story. You could have made it short, but But
I mean, I could really shorten it down to
go ahead.
One word. Ever since I was a child, I've been inspired by birth and fertility. So to make it
That's her
one more
purpose then.
sentence. When I was a little girl, my mom asked me what I wanted to be. I said a ballerina. She said, no, you're not going to be a ballerina because it doesn't make enough money. So she pulled out this book, and I pointed to a word. It was like a book of careers. I pointed to a word, and it was obstetrician. But then I found out you had to cut babies out of babies' wombs, and even as like a 6-year-old, I knew that's not what I wanted to do. So I found out about midwifery. I started looking into that, and then I found out about doulas, and I started looking into that. And then from, posting a lot online, I realized that people needed more fertility work, so then I went into the fertility realm.
Okay. Okay, so you're a doula, a midwife?
Fertility strategist.
I like that. Where they do that at? That's beautiful. That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot, but you would never know.
Misconceptions about conception. That's perfect, Sakisa. Right. And so, we talked about, the issues, what brings the issues, what some of the causes may be, and all of that. So, talk about some of the solutions before we shift.
Some of the solutions, again, you have to reduce stress continuously. Because every single day you are being bombarded with stress. Waking up in the morning is stressful for some people. So, you got to wake up in the morning with an intention to reduce the stress in your life, either by having a morning routine. That reduces
what about
stress.
womb steam?
What about
womb steams?
Womb steams, I think they're really good. But what I see happening is that people it's like a one-shot thing. Like
instead of making it part of your regimen.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Because in other cultures, that's a part of the regimen.
Exactly.
It's, because the womb, everything needs detox sometimes. Everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? No matter what you're doing, no matter how you eat, how bad, or how good, or whatever, it has to be some type of cleansing and detoxing going on.
Exactly.
And so when you think about the womb area, that is a maintenance that could be used on a regular basis, like you said, instead of one shot once a year or twice a year. You get a womb steam.
They wonder why it's not working.
I know, right?
And that's a way to keep that area clear of those fibroids and those, abnormalities as well. So any other solutions?
Exercise again helps to reduce the estrogen in your body. And again, as Black women, we tend to be a little on the chubby side. So estrogen stores in fat cells. So that's why they keep telling you to lose weight. They don't tell you why, but that's why, because estrogen stores in your fat cells. So if you reduce the size of your fat cells or reduce the fat cells altogether, then you help to reduce the estrogen out of your body.
And risk of fibroids.
Everything, because
a lot of things, yeah.
Another thing is that again, you don't really find out about fibroids and endometriosis until it's too late. But then when you do get the fibroids, they tell you that it will go away when you're 40 or when you go through menopause. But what they don't tell you is that after menopause and after the fibroids, there's polyps.
Okay, they leave something behind.
And polyps are just as dangerous as, they can be cancerous. They can, again, cause you to need to go through the whole hysterectomy, all of that, all over again. So
exactly.
You gotta, as a woman, you really gotta tap into your femininity and really start to do things that are healing and pay more attention to your womb. So
you have to be kind to yourself.
Right. You gotta be a woman.
I love it.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break. This is Misconceptions about Conception here on I Radio. I'm Sharice Nicole. We got Sister Sakisa Berry of LovingTouch.com in the building. Midwife, traditional midwife, doula, lactation consultant, author, all those. Well, look, she's like, dang, that is me.
That is her.
Right. So stay tuned and we'll be right back with Misconceptions about Conceptions here on WRFG.
Peace.